You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Tres, dos, uno. Hi, welcome back to Miracles Online podcast. This is a podcast that to enhance and learn about your relationship, dating, marriage, commitments, and I'm so happy to bring it to you. I'm Jeff, and this is
I'm Kat.
and we've been married together for now going on 27th year.
Wow.
Yeah. So we want to be able to sit down and talk intelligently and hopefully with our hearts to help everyone in regards to some of the things that maybe we're not seeing in your relationship. And today our episode is dealing with romance intelligence. How about those apples?
Romantic
Right.
intelligence, which is different than emotional IQ. So what is your definition of that, Jeff?
What does that mean?
Romantic IQ as opposed to emotional, beyond emotional IQ in love. What is your take on that?
Well, to me, romantic intelligence, number one, is the aptitude. Okay. The aptitude regards to what are romantic things? What are things that you do to fuel the romanticism in your relationship? The so-called emotional IQ is how we were taught, how we are influenced by modeling or by influence of television and movies.
And that's narrowed, we all know, because, it's our first time being a human. It was our parents, our grandparents' first time being a human being.
Right.
So they just, generational keep repeating the models that really need improving.
Sure. And let's look at it from a perspective. If you came from a home that has a lot of so-called disagreements, violence, or things of that nature, then of course you're going to have those being modeled as love. It's raining outside.
It is. I can hear it. I can hear it's raining here in Houston, Texas.
So we're doing the podcast in the rain. So that's even more romantic.
It is.
Wow. Yeah. My little bear and I used to go to the backyard when it rained and be outside.
Yeah.
I remember that. So let's go back to, sorry to sidetrack that one, but emotional IQ, I would say I came from a household that had a very low emotional IQ on relationship. It's not saying that they were bad people. My parents was actually very good fundamental people.
They were repeating what they knew.
They were acting according to what they know best. But I will say this: my stepdad, who raised me, super guy in his own little ways, was very shut off. He was a kind of kid that was in a big family, so he often got ignored. And I learned this years later because he was ignored in such a big family that he often ventured out and played with friends and whatnot by himself. And I got bullied a lot because he was a little bit smaller in stature. So he became very reserved and quiet. And as an adult raising me, if there was some kind of conflict or any kind of incidents and so forth, he shut down emotionally. And I start to becoming to understand that behavior and incorporating it into my reality. And then when I was having issues, I would emotionally shut down, thinking that was the way to behave. So that was my emotional IQ. And I, of course, eventually went and got help in the workshops and realized, wow, that's not the right way to behave. I shouldn't burden myself, number one, and then be in my own headspace of safety and protection, thinking that was the way to avoid pain, is to avoid conflict. And so for me, I learned that before I was 30. So that was good, because without it, I don't think we would have this great of a relationship in my marriage.
No,
Yeah.
we wouldn't.
Right.
We probably wouldn't have had a marriage.
No, we
Yeah.
would never, God would not have put us together. Let's look at it this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, the universe.
Because
wouldn't grant
we
that.
have over 10 years age difference. You might
Yes.
have heard us talk about this on past episodes. And I really wasn't looking for someone younger. My experience had always been someone my age or older for the maturity level that I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I was blown away. And this is a prime example why, don't use societal standards of, someone's looks or stature or economic standing, et cetera, for what's really important. Because my experience of Jeff being much younger than me was that he was extremely emotionally intelligent, but beyond emotionally intelligent, that he had a romantic intelligence that is, really it was just a mind blower for his age. Because I hadn't really run across someone my age or older. So, these are stereotypes that this age, they'll be this mature, that age, they'll be that mature. And that's just not the case. So,
Right.
So you have to be, aware, I think.
Well, not only being aware,
recognize
but the key factor to have the romance in being romantic intelligence in that sense is that you have to do some research and reading about the topic. You have to dig deeper. I know that a lot of guys think romance is just throw flowers and foreplay, and that's it. And it goes deeper than that. It's much more deeper than that. The way you stroke her hair, the way you touch her jawline, maybe little kisses on the cheek. All.
So
these
would you call
things.
that romantic fluency?
I would call that not only fluency, but sensuality. I think it's definitely the connection, the sensitivity of it, the awareness of it.
Sure, because some
the
women may not like their face touched.
Well, I don't know. I've been touching women all my life. They love it.
Hello.
So what are you telling me? I need to go out and try it?
27 years you haven't.
Excuse me, ma'am. My wife says you don't like this? No, of course I'm clowning, but
it's a dance, I think.
It can be.
It's a dance. Okay.
But I don't want to. Here's the thing: when you say dance, it gives me the impression that there's a back and forth to it, right? And I think it's a little bit more participating, like almost like team work together, opposed to a back and forth like this.
Okay, well, we're doing semantics because
the reason why I bring this up is that if you're doing this, they're still not together. But if you're doing this, then of course it's much better, and that to me is the big difference.
You said it perfectly early, and that's paying attention, having an awareness, I think, to your significant other, right? To know when they need comforting, when they need, a romantic gesture, when they need their hand held,
right,
et cetera.
Right. Well, that's intuitive. That is, as well as the key thing, awareness. Awareness is, to me, something that takes time. It takes you taking the effort to kind of look for it and develop it. This is why the first thing I said is you got to do some research on this, do some research and reading about this. The things that I read, let me start with this, to kind of understand myself. I did the book Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And this is a book about,
we both actually, that was one of the things that connected us in the beginning before we even met on our phone interviews.
Right.
Is that's a book that we were both had read both had on our library.
Right. So that book taught me in regards to something about honoring self, honoring the love and the heart to yourself. And what that did for me is it opened up a level of understanding that I was not aware that I was denying. And this is, to me, key, because if you're not having the opportunity to open your heart to yourself and understanding and be aware of that, how can you give it to someone that you think is the ultimate, your personal best, your relationship partner? She's the one or he's the one. Because ultimately what that will do is that the infatuation falls apart. The so-called the attractions start to taper down.
You sabotage it, really. If you haven't done the work to come to a place where you honor self-love, and that's what you're talking about. It's been said for eons. You have to love yourself first. That is so true. So, well, how do you? That's easier said than done, isn't it? Sure, you need to do work, especially if you've come from, and most of us have stories. Right. All different, all impactful, that have told us at a very young age, we're not good enough, we're not lovable, we're just not enough. And until you've done that work, and we both had, by the time we met, we had slayed our demons. It's very difficult to be able to genuinely, wholeheartedly be able to feel and be sensitive and love another person, right? In a sacred way.
Well, in absolutely in the whole complete way, right? And that's what we all search for. This is, I think, and I really truly believe, why a lot of relationships fail is because that not fully committed envelopment of the love that you're receiving from the other person. You're just not feeling that they're giving you all, where that person could be doing their best at 100%, but they didn't know. They are not aware. They're not opening their heart to themselves first, and then being able to give the 100% or 110% to the relationship.
Well, you can't give, it comes down to, Jeff, I believe, you can't give what you don't have. If your cup is empty, you have nothing to give.
Right.
And that's why it's so important. And you will sabotage relationships if you're coming empty and feeling like the other person is going to complete you. In my very, very young age days, my first but brief husband, also the father of my oldest daughter, my thinking was, here's a bad boy. He was a very bad boy. And but my emotional position at that point was, he just needs someone to love him. I will love him, and then he won't be a bad boy.
Right.
I'm going to change him. All he needs is love.
Right.
And we all know that story doesn't work. And that was a very immature, emotional place to be. To think that I'm going to, change someone, that all they need is love. It's just coming with that motherly.
Guys do the same thing. Guys also, I'll rescue her, the damsel in distress.
A rescue.
I'm going to come riding in my white horse and shining armor.
Yep.
She doesn't have to be perfect. She just have to be needy, so I can come in and scoop her out.
And the reality of that is, in my readings and studying, hundreds of books and psychology, et cetera, about the human condition, that's a very egoic. Oh, there's a reminder.
Yeah. Heart. Yeah. And of course, if you've been tuning into Miracles Online, you know that in my house, we have our Alexa that tells us every day.
It reminds us.
Yeah.
In case we forget, which we don't.
Yeah. No, we don't. This is living by design. On another episode, we have constant love in the house. Okay.
So what was I saying?
Well, you were saying in regards to I don't remember what you said.
Okay, rewind.
So let's go back to just again the intuition and the love the relationship of not giving 100%. And that's, again, if you don't know it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I just remembered, brain fart there. We can't fit, me wanting to fix Tanya's birth father. And it's coming from a very egoic place. Guys wanting the damsel in distress and he's going to come rescue. And of course, many of us have been bombarded since young age with the Disney, here comes your knight in shining armor type thing. So a lot of females are more than willing to be rescued instead of being their own strong female power.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that's getting better with the onset,
Right.
since women burned their bras in the 60s when I was raised. But so that's not a mature place to be, either from the male or the female side. It's very egoic. It's
very much so.
Let me beat my chest, or let me be the savior mother,
right.
Instead of, assessing are we a good vibrational match?
Right. Well, that seems to be so mature, isn't it? It's so much more romantic if you rescued me.
Only because you've seen it in Disney.
And again,
movies.
that's the part of the emotional IQ, right? Because you have been conditioned to think that way. Yeah, right. This is, to me, one of the things about Disney, and we won't jump all over this, but I mean, come on. You keep on playing those type of, prince, princess, rescue fantasies. What do you think you're teaching kids to buy into?
Right.
So we don't want to condition ourselves and our future with our kids and
with fantasies, with things that really aren't real.
That's not going to contribute into a healthy relationship.
Right.
And that's really what we're looking to do with these type of information, is to help everybody to pave a road that is going to be solid, that has got great foundation, and that is going to take the beating, the road wearing, the weather, all that, and still function maximum 100%. So in regards to a relationship of the romantic intelligence, I can't stress enough that number one is, how much time are you planning to be a part of this so-called plan? In other words, are you putting efforts in saying, hey, I got this week coming up. I'm doing this with my wife, my girlfriend, my significant other, whoever it may be. Are you putting thoughts to it? Right? Because if you're not, you're winging it every day. I woke up, I'm going to work. You already got your schedule going down. And then the love of my life, it only gets this kind of energy and this kind of effort because everything else mattered. And see the message you're giving to your relationship? Yeah. That's why it doesn't work.
And your relationship, the person you choose to be in your life, is really the most important decision, I believe, that you will ever make. But what happens is we get stuck again on the hamster wheel, the gotta, shoulda, woulda, couldas, need to, schedules, etc. And there's no time for what matters. I think I mentioned this before on a podcast, but it's worth repeating, Jeff. And that is, I had the opportunity, actually, when I was working for corporate America, to have taken a training on time management. It was by Franklin. You remember the Franklin?
Sure.
Okay. And it was, they did a pyramid for time management. And on the bottom, the biggest part of the pyramid was your values. And of course, most people put, family, God, children, whatever. Most people are going to put that. And then as you go up the pyramid, okay, the bottom line is, when you're building your day, if you don't have on your calendar, which is what you're talking about, something that involves connecting, embracing, spending time with, pausing, reflecting with what you have put on the pyramid as the most important foundational values, this is where people become feeling they don't know why, that they feel discombobulated, they feel disconnected, they feel something's not right, but they don't know what it is.
Right.
It's because you can think about it all you want. You can put it on paper and then forget it, set it and forget it. But if you don't take action, even a little step, because I can hear your pushback. Well, I don't have time. There's the kids and the job and the church and there's no time.
Right.
There's time for things that are important to you. Even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's, let me take a pause to play chess, take a short walk, do
Everything.
something. Yeah.
Sit down and talk.
Yeah. Sit down and talk and connect on a deep spiritual level. Something besides what are we going to do? What's our schedule? Yada, yada, yada. And, Jeff and I, and those of you who are couples who run businesses together, it can be challenging not to talk about business all the time.
Absolutely.
It's not very romantic. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
It's like, what? I'll send you a text. I'll send you this is our time. So I think you have to be very intentional and sacred with your time
100%.
together, especially when you work together.
100%.
As much as when you have multiple kids and obligations and schedules and things like that, school, sports, etc. Because there's always time for things that matter. Always.
Yeah. And what matters is your relationship.
Yeah.
Your relationship with you, with yourself, with the higher source, and with each other. Yeah. These are things that the Holy Trinity of that.
Yeah.
And the key thing is, if you don't put that in the forefront, it's very easily that this start to just erode. It is just start collecting dust. It start to gather rust. It start to just not be shiny, not refined anymore. And pretty soon it's covered. And pretty soon you can't find it. And then all of a sudden, every day is a conflict. Every day is a disagreement. And pretty soon you look at each other and goes, I thought I loved you. I don't feel love anymore. And then it's their fault, because it can't be your fault, could it? I was here. I was doing all the things. Were you? If you ever find yourself in that situation, I can promise you, if you have that kind of awareness that the love is gone and we're not putting anything to it, finger point first person, look in the mirror and yourself. How did you allow this to happen? Because it doesn't happen overnight. So that's the key factor about the emotional IQ versus the intelligence. The intelligence seeks opportunities, seeks ways to connect. For instance, some of us would love to prep dinner together. You're cutting the salads and the vegetables. I'm sitting there stirring the pot and the sauce. We're singing a song together. That is a great, great connection moment. And if you both enjoy that moment, why isn't that a daily moment? So you have to find these things. This is where the aspect of identifying through all the things you know with your heart and the things that you know about each other and the sensitivity that goes into understanding the depth of your partner.
So let's talk about that a little bit, Jeff. I like where you're going with that. So how would you say, and you can use our situation, how do you read your partner's energy and emotional subtext? Like, you can give an example with me. I can share.
Well, number one is I've come to the conclusion that almost predominantly, overwhelmingly, it's in my own head. So therefore, I don't create the scenario by using my own ego in my own thoughts. I use communication, my verbal communication, my physical communication. If I see you not uppity or melancholy or upset or whatnot, I don't give you 20 questions and try to identify. I'm not your problem solver for this unless you ask me for it. But what I now start doing is I would say, come here. And I would embrace and hug and hold her. And I would do whatever I personally have in my power to take any kind of negative energy and flow it through to me and let it ground.
And that's how simple and pure and beautiful that it can be. We We all have something like 65 or 70,000 thoughts, some twice as much all the time. Who can wrap their brain around that? I'm not in his head. He's not in mine.
Right.
However, we can be attuned to each other energetically, romantically, spiritually, and sometimes the simplest but most profound and impactful way to connect and heal with your partner's, let's say, melancholy or upset or this and that is to just unite.
Sure.
Have a soulful hug. Have a soulful, embrace.
If you are not feeling it and you're in your own kind of like dark space and whatnot, for me, of course, it hurts to see you not happy. So what would I do? I can offer you something that physically changed. Like, for instance, you want something to eat, you want something to drink, or simply hug and a kiss.
And sometimes it's just space.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I just need to give him space.
I always need space because I'm the only child. and I say that with whole heart of honesty. No, but I'm going to tell you as honest as I possibly can. And I know only childs out there may understand this better than anybody else. That when you're raised by yourself in your own little world and you have no siblings and whatnot, then you become a significant other as a partner to another person. There is sometimes claustrophobic feeling of I just need to dissipate and sit, do something on my own.
And I understand, especially because we're together at this time in our life a lot of the time. But on the other side of the coin, coming from one of 5 children, I will tell you, I honor, and there's not much that's going to get in the way of my space. And how I articulate that is I get up early before the house is up. Even if my trainer's coming at 9, I'm up at 7 to have my quiet time, my reading, my prayer, my introspection, my meditation. That is sacred to me. And I truly believe, and I'm sure he will agree, that I'm a better person for it.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm better for him. I'm better for the world.
Because you're recharging your battery.
Yes.
You're allowing yourself to ground and be still, to center. And these are all contributions to your intelligence in the romantic part of your life. Because to be high romantic intelligence, number one, you want to be as low a stress point as you possibly can. Because how can you be loving and warm and romantic if you're constantly stressed? Man, the light bill has got to, man, I got to go get another tire because this one's
absolutely that is so key, Jeff. We're very blessed at this time in our life. Our biggest commotion is having 4 dogs and a grandchild that we co-parent. But I know that there's many of you out there with much more hectic schedules than that. But you need, as humans, we need to create sacred spaces for us to connect and be vulnerable. We need that quiet time to have the connection and vulnerable dialogue with one another. Yes. Because the bottom line is we are human beings, not human doings. I'm going to say that again. We are human beings, not human doings.
Yeah.
And I remind myself of that all the time because there's something inside me. Maybe it was because I was the oldest daughter of 5 kids and had so much responsibility to do, get this done, get that done, perform, that even, I was talking about this the other day, even when I was disabled back in the 80s with a back injury, I remember I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have to be anywhere. And I remember being at like a strip center and I'm walking like this, like I always do, like, gotta be here, gotta be. And I remember this light bulb went on. and said, you don't have to be anywhere
Mm-hmm.
at any
Mhm.
particular time. Slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I've since then, I remind myself daily,
Yes.
Okay. And that was actually one of the things that I learned with
Mhm.
the Franklin time management was everything is not an A. Because I used to put everything A,
Yes.
A. Everything is not an A. It's only an A if it doesn't get done tomorrow, something will bad happen. Then it's an A.
Yeah, that's
an
that's
A.
in your own head.
That's in my own head.
That's right.
Yeah. No, everything's not an A. You need to prioritize.
Yeah.
It's okay to put an arrow and push it over to the next day.
That's right.
But yeah, it's something I remind myself daily that
Right.
I'm a human being, not a human doing.
That's right. And I hope this episode really helped, you guys out there to look deeper within yourself, look deeper within this relationship, and how much effort you're putting into your thoughts, and how much preparation that you actually put effort into helping you to be able to schedule or plan these great opportunities that becomes great events that
Mhm.
becomes ultimately the ultimate experience and
Mhm.
memory.
Mhm.
And that's what you're wanting to be able to have in your relationship. So with that, you have a letter that you're going to read
Did
for
you
us?
want to talk about Yahoo Publishing before I go to the letter or after?
Well, Yahoo Publishing is where you can get the book Miracles Online. Miracles Online, written by the fabulous Cat here. And it's your GPS to online dating, as well as a lot of great gold nuggets of information on how to go approach the dating world. And with that, of course, always like and subscribe this podcast. And the most important, I always tell everybody, is please share it. There's always somebody out there that's in a relationship that could be better, could be more fulfillment and more enriched. And hope that the information that we get here at Miracles Online will be able to offer that for everyone. And with that, take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. That was awesome. So this is actually addressed to you and I. It's a letter from a listener. Dear Kat and Jeff, I've been listening to your episodes and something in me is waking up, this longing, not just for love, but for deeper, quote, knowing in love. It's not just about communication or compromise anymore. I want a relationship where I can read the room of my partner's soul. I like that. Where energy speaks louder than words and silence still feels like connection. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. How do we learn that kind of language? How do we move past surface level emotional awareness and into something sacred where we hold space for each other's invisible worlds? I'm ready to stop guessing and start feeling, to recognize when my partner needs comfort, even before they say a word, and to speak my own heart with courage and clarity. Teach me how to grow my romantic intelligence, how to tune into the frequency of love that's intuitive, spiritual, and alive. With hope, a listener who knows love can be more. And I really appreciate that. It's right in tune with this episode. So
yes.
My hope is that you're listening or will listen to this episode and take away a nugget that can help you get closer to where you want to be in your beautiful relationship.
Yeah. All our hearts out there for you. All the blessings and wishes for you to have the fruit of love at the utmost maximum yield of life. And with that, we want to thank you for tuning in. Miracles Online podcast. Like I said, leave us a comment. Tell us your story. And we definitely read it. And then on top of that, of course, tell everybody about this podcast. We also stream this on redpill.tv, but it goes on to other social media as well. I've noticed it's streaming now on Facebook as well.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's also streaming on X. So you can see it in a lot of places. Always drop us a line if you want to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us your
story. Let us know if there's a topic in relationships, dating, commitment, love that you'd like us to explore and talk about. We would love to do that and hear from you.
Yeah. And with that, thank you and see you next time between me and my lovely bear.
Sealed with a kiss.